trying to warn her that was not her friend. So we're going to pick up the discussion on pretty much talking about the situation. Does anyone have a viewpoint on the situation?
I think it was just, oh, go ahead.
You sure, Miss Doris?
Yeah, positive. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay. Well, I think that was in chapter 6 in the book. I saw it, and I guess that women's intuition is what really, really, really jumped out to me. And sometimes all the time, you just have to trust it. Even if you don't want to trust it. I see Sister Whitaker has joined us. Yay, she's a prophetess, Whitaker. So I just thank God for her joining us. But I think that intuition, you are not crazy. And sometimes we, try to justify things, and we try to you know, I don't know, but you're not crazy. So that's what with that entire situation, that intuition, and how God will shine a light on hidden things, and that's exactly what this situation was. She was trying to surprise him, but the Lord was saying, "Oh no, this thing is about to come to a head." So women intuition.
Anyone else?
How do we feel about her situation? What you said, Coretta?
Yes, about her situation. Like, how do you feel about her situation? Like Shell said, she did have the intuition of knowing something was going on, but it's like she kept trying to push it in the back of her mind. She kept feeling like maybe they just wasn't spending enough time together, why he was cheating. But I think at the same time, she feared that he was cheating. She was trying to, I guess, save him from cheating.
Oh, you talking about after she had found out?
Before and after.
We didn't pass that.
Yeah, we didn't pass that point.
Yeah. Well, after she had found out and stuff, I think it was just a what you call a foul situation. You couldn't take it back. It was reality. I mean, and then she had to decide what she gonna do. If she gonna press forward, leave him behind, or was she gonna try to work? I think it just messed up all the way. I've never been in that situation. Thank God I didn't want to be in there. And I'm just going by what, because you never know what you'll do. True. But I will hope I never do what she would do. I mean, I just hope I'll just be as strong and just say to each his own, I'll see you when I see you.
But she did have a based how she was explaining it from what she was telling Karen, because Karen was strong. Karen was like, look, my husband going about his business. I'm not gonna stay in this situation. He's out here blowing money and I keep telling him, she was basically him, either you go get help or I'm gonna leave you and put you out.
Yeah, but Karen had married before though. So yeah, Karen, that's true. That's the difference. Karen been married before and she wasn't going down that road again.
Right.
And because she knew how it was the first time. Yeah. With Regina, this was Regina's first time. Mm-hmm. So, she thought her stuff was all, well put together. So I can see why Karen's saying what she's saying, because she's been down that road. And once you go down that road, you ain't going to let nobody take you back down there.
That's true. True. And Karen's family background, well, now I ain't gonna say her family background was a little bit stronger, because Regina was basing hers on her parents' background. They were married. They had a good marriage. They never did separate. Karen was used to being in a separate home from her parents as well. And like I said, she had been down there, so she was experienced. Also, what was revealed was Regina didn't want to be single. She felt like they had true, and it did seem like they had the perfect marriage. They spent a lot of time together. They had a nice home. Both of them had great jobs. And he started off being a good man. He was very attentive to her. But he also said that he pretty much was saying like he couldn't stand her, like he hated her at some point. Mm-hmm. He did. He talked to her like she was nothing, like everything that happened, like you don't listen to what I say. You always negative, you always down talking other women, and the reason why you so mad now because I chose this dark skinned sister over you. But another thing that she didn't have, Karen had faith. Karen kept telling her, okay, like pray and stuff like that. But Regina, biggest thing with her faith was in, maybe I can change his mind.
He really didn't. Maybe he really didn't know what he was saying. Yeah. Or he probably was upset or something.
Yeah, people can't say things out of anger. I'm very guilty of that. I'm guilty of that. I have a mouth when I'm angry.
No.
Were you saying something, Belinda?
Yes, I was gonna come in and say, well, about the situation, I don't think it's very surprising, because I think most situations or dishonesty, most cheating situation does happen with people that's close to each other. Because if you be around people these days, like I would say me, for example, I'm not gonna necessarily say me, for example, but I would say with my kid's father, my ex-husband, I would never lasted 10 years. I would never a million years thought that he was cheating on me, which was why it lasted so long. But it lasted so long, and because I had faith in him, and I don't see how Chase could go out and find somebody else. I don't see how Chase could cheat on me. But it was the fact that it was with people that we knew. Most of the time when people hang around other people, they start developing a bond, or they like the way that a person treats another person. Therefore, they start to, do little things to try to get that person's attention. So most of the time it just be with people that you know because they hang around those people. So with with Regina's situation, I don't think it's surprising at all that it happened to be with one of her friends.
Do you think her friend was jealous of her and that's why she wanted her husband? Because she saw how much time they spent together. They had this big, nice house. He worked and he still provided. Because what I did respect about him, even when he left her, he still agreed he was going to be a man. I'm still going to pay these bills.
It still was good. I wouldn't even want him to pay the bills because you didn't went that far. And yes, you can. No, it's true that she was jealous because, like he said, she made the first move. She went upstairs.
She did.
Which was wrong from the jump. So it's she wanted what she had all along, and she used to get close to him, and he allowed.
But I look at it this way too. I don't think she was jealous of her. She just didn't like her. She thought she liked her. See, people can pretend they like you. They said beware of smiling faces. True. Sometimes, that girl wasn't jealous of her because that girl lived right down the street. She lived in a nice neighborhood. She drove a nice car. She, had a nice body, wore nice clothes. She did everything, but in actuality, she probably got tired of hearing Regina brag. Regina seemed like was a bragger. And the girl just, she really couldn't stand her. And just to show you or to shut your mouth up, I'm going to show you just what you think you have, but you don't have.
Yeah, and I agree. I agree. I agree. I think she was just vindictive. I don't think it was nothing against Regina. I don't think it was nothing against her, and I don't think she wanted her man. I think she was just vindictive to the point where, you know what, you think you got it going on, you think this, and you got them kind of people out there. I don't like you because you. I don't like you because you got something going on, and I'm going to destroy that just to show you that, hey, stuff ain't as good as you think it is. I think she was just vindictive because, as you can see, she didn't want that man. She didn't want that man. She didn't want nothing that woman had. Like you said, I think it was, she seen her, she just wanted to destroy her happiness. That's what I took from it.
Okay, but also even with that, Karen didn't like her. Karen always said, listen, now, why she ain't go after Karen's husband, though?
Because Karen didn't let her close to her. Karen, she knew Karen didn't like her, and Karen wasn't going to let her close to her. Because if Karen had the opportunity, she would have beat her down a long time ago. So she know Karen wasn't that tight, because she knew Karen could read her. She knew Karen knew just what she was. But Regina ain't had a clue.
Discernment.
She was just vindictive.
When I saw it, as I began to read, I think, and that is another red flag. I know we're talking about a book. It's a Christian book, but it has a lot of secular topics, but it rings true. We have to truly know who we are allowing in our space, who we are allowing to come in. You have to evaluate. I talk about that all the time. Friendship is an obligation. So I'm careful who I decide I'm gonna let be my friend. It's an obligation and it comes with responsibilities. So everybody don't get that privilege, So, and it's discernment and being careful who you let in your circle, because you can let some snakes in there. And that's all she was, a snake.
Just like you take time when you're getting ready to start a relationship, you go slow, supposed to go slow and take your time to get to know the person and see if y'all share the same interests on the same path. And that's the same way as when you meet people. A lot of times when you first meet people, you can kind of sense how they are. If you just pay attention, you're in tune with yourself, you'll sense it. If you don't get it all the first time, the next time you're around them, you'll know. And so you'll know how to conduct yourself, and you'll know the conversations that you should have, and how close you should allow the person to to be a part of your intimate lives. You don't just jump out telling people about your personal business and about your man and what your man do for you. You opening the door for them to come on in and want to experience what you say that's so good.
Mm-hmm. That's true. What stood out to me, I think she was just a person. She was just mean spirited. I'm not for sure why, but it's because we never did learn much about her. But you could tell, in order for you to be around somebody for 12 years, and then once you see what she is, because you was with her when she was single, but once she gets to a moment in her life where she's happy and it's like everything is going good. Because remember, they stayed in the same apartment complex at one point as well, in the same condo. So once she gets to a certain status in her life, you try to bring her happiness down. But to me, he was naive, because when they learned, she set this whole situation up so we can meet each other. And you still chose her, seeing how vindictive she was. You didn't care about your wife feelings. You cared more for a woman because of, I guess, maybe she was more sexual experienced. You could spend less over there. You felt like you had more freedom with her because Regina was always on your back about things. So it's like you chose someone that you saw how vindictive she was.
No, but let me tell you, this what I take out of that. You remember Larry said the things later what he didn't like about Regina. Mm-hmm. Karen and Marilyn knew those same things. She knew he didn't like them about her. So Marilyn was gigging her own in the things that he didn't like. So she was feeding into him, listening to him. Marilyn was listening to him, building him up and everything. And but Marilyn played them both.
She did.
She played them both.
She played her role, because I'm around you, so I see everything that he's saying that he don't like, and then he's telling me everything. So instead of him confiding all this in his wife, I mentioned it to her. But I'm looking at Marilyn like she's my best friend. But that's my thing. When he saw how vindictive Marilyn was, anytime you will set her up, because I hadn't told her, so you set her up to come up here, knowing she's coming up here to catch us in this hotel room, and then you turn the water off and you walk out and you cock it like, I know you finna choose me already, because I'm making sure you miserable with her, because I'm staying in your ear as well. So to me, it seemed like she played that role, just like how we said with Adam and Eve, and how the snakes out there. It's like Marilyn was a snake the whole time. Karen could see it. Karen sensed it. She was like, I knew something wasn't right about her. Karen sensed it, but Regina was so naive that she wanted to be liked. Regina wanted to be liked.
Just saying, like I said, Regina was a bragger. She talked too much.
But then Regina envied Karen.
She did. Regina envied Karen because she always felt like Regina felt like she had to work hard for everything, and Karen didn't. But I think she didn't feel like that with Marilyn, so maybe that's why she latched on with Marilyn, because notice she never really said anything negative about Marilyn, not until actually the day they got into it. Because when Karen used to say stuff about her, Regina would take up for her.
Yeah.
But she felt like she was beneath Karen. But she still was what I did like, and even though Karen got mad, she knew how much I guess she saw a good man in John, and she set him up for to come out to the club that night to give her a chance to talk to him, because she knew that Karen had been hurt once before, and she knew Karen's biggest fear was money, because her mother never had a lot of money, but she worked 2 jobs to make sure they had everything they needed. So it's like Regina was not necessarily a bad person, but the one thing that we did realize, Regina was not always that insecure until she got with Larry. Remember, John said, I never really liked Larry, was always a woman's watcher. He always paid attention to other women. So we start off thinking he's a confident man. That's how Marilyn played him too, because she realized how weak he was. He had some self-esteem issues too.
You know, it's I hate to say it's an exhausting topic, because it is so real. It is so real. I forwarded this link to some people that are hurting. I mean, like real life hurting. And I said, this, you know, you may want to watch this. You know, and of course we're going to put this on YouTube, maybe not the ministry page, but in case the Lord wants somebody to see it. But what do? You know, I mean, when you are in this particular character in this book, Regina's place, where she was trying all she could, even going on and on about sexual intimacy and being close, because there was a lot of that going on in the book, and that still wasn't enough. It wasn't enough. You know, when you have somebody who has determined that they don't want you, I mean, and realizing that love liberates and it sets people free. You don't, love does not hold captive, you know. So what can we say to somebody that just may catch just this one little snippet, you know, in the middle of feeling like Regina felt in that moment, when she was so fixated on Marilyn instead of being fixated on Larry in the beginning, and how Larry just, oh, she pregnant, oh, we're gonna have a baby, oh, I don't want you, you know. And what can you say to somebody who's in that predicament?
Mm.
Better days are coming.
I think
that is, I don't know, you sometimes just don't say nothing. Just sit there with them and don't say nothing, because at that point, nothing you can say can stop that pain. Only time and prayer, and just
support,
pray for an eye opening, common sense to kick in. But one thing about it, when that common sense kick in, you're gonna be aware from that point on.
I think for me, I think her friend was telling her the best advice. I seen a YouTube video, and it was a pastor talking, and he was like, he said his biggest thing was when he was going through a divorce, everybody was telling him like, well, you know God, and God said he'll never leave you or forsake you and stuff like that. And he said he didn't end his marriage. His wife wanted to end his marriage. He said, so every pastor was, and everybody in the congregation was acting like he'll be okay. He said, so every day he'll put on this facade and he was okay. He said he went to pray for people that were sick. He said he prayed for other relationships. He said he kept doing all his obligations. He was like, and everybody acted like you supposed to be okay. He said, so one day he got to a point, and he said he was praying to God, and he said he told God, I can't do this no more. I'm finna turn in everything. I can't do this no more. He said, because in the inside, I'm dying. He said, because I'm going home alone. He said, my wife then moved on. She getting remarried. She got another man. So I guess maybe she had cheated on him, and she didn't start her whole life over. He said, but I'm sitting here because I'm supposed to be a man of God. I'm not supposed to get angry. And when I do, everybody acting like I'm wrong. And everybody acting like, well, what she doing is okay. He said, so one day, he said, I sat and I called. I think that maybe the pastor that was over him, he said, I told him I'm gonna have to take some time off. He said, I'm really thinking about giving this up. He said, because I can't do this no more. He said, I cannot do this. He said, it got to a point, at one point, he wanted to kill himself. He said, because it was not okay. And everybody was acting like, well, it's okay. And you know, you got to forgive and blah, blah, blah. He said, everybody kept giving him all this advice. He said, so one day, another pastor called him like, yeah, just take off some time, take your vacation, man. He said, put your feet in the sand. And he was like, he said, because just because you're a man of God, you human too. He said, it's okay to cry. He said, it's okay for the vent. He said, it's okay to get mad. He said, that don't make you no less of a man of God because you living in your human characteristic. He said, because still at the end of the day, God know you have to live. He said, so stop letting everybody give you this advice and telling you how to live. He said, so he ended up meeting a guy, and he said he sat there and he said the whole time, he said he broke down and cried, told him how he felt like killing himself. He said he cried. He said he let everything out. And he said his best friend didn't say nothing. He let him cry. He said his best friend didn't give him no advice. He said he let him cry and get everything out. He said because it was hurting him. Because he thinking, what did I do wrong? How could I end this? What? I don't get it. And this, she done moved on with her life, and everybody acting like, okay, cool, you get over it. He said, but you can't get over something where you gave your all to. And he said that was the best thing that he ever did when he cried and he vented and he finally got a chance for to say what he wanted to say. I finally got a chance to take off this robe because I'm a pastor, but I'm human too, and it's not okay. So I think that's the best advice to give anybody. Vent, cry, shout, yeah, do what you got to do. And that was the same way with Regina. Once Regina got all her emotions out and she really saw how he was really going to handle her, because notice everything she did, it was always her. You did this, you did this, you did this. Even though he cheated, but he kept pointing the finger at her. You did me wrong,
That's
but it's still your fault.
That's real life stuff. Well, go ahead, Coretta.
No, I'm saying I think that's the best advice you can give anybody, especially when you've been did wrong. It's okay to feel how you feel, because you don't need people to validate your feelings. Sometimes you just need somebody just to be there and just like, it's okay. It's okay. It don't make you less of a man or less of a woman. It's okay.
I also think that that change, the only thing constant is change, and in a relationship, I mean, and in life, you have changes, and I agree completely. And sometimes you have to cry and mourn the death of that you don't have, and even if you stay married, you still have to get to know this new person, that you're married to, although it's the same person, but you don't see them the same. I never forget, I heard this guy named Dean Braxton, and he has this powerful heaven experience where he died and went to heaven. And anyway, it's an awesome testimony. But anyway, his name is Dean Braxton. And he talked about how when he came back, he had seen Jesus. He quit his job, he started ministering, going to schools, and his wife was like, how you gonna go quit your job? But he was a completely different person, after his heavenly encounter, but so his wife, they was on the verge of a divorce, and because now he wants to minister all day, and the good paying job that he had, so they had a change in their relationship. So I think that, and change is not always a bad thing, but change, the only thing constant is change. So I think when you give yourself an opportunity to mourn the relationship of it not being what it used to be, because this lady had to mourn and her husband just so happened to go to heaven, and then all of a sudden their life changed, so even in those situations where you cry, you get those tears out and you mourn what you had. You mourn, and you can remember the time when he was faithful, when he was right, when he did do you the way, and if you decide you're going to stay in there, had Regina decided she was going to stay in and fight and believe God or whatever the case may be, she still would have had to get to know a whole new man, the aftermath man, because it is not the same for you, and he is definitely not the same, behind doing that type of, anyway it go, you just have to adjust to change, and God is a God of change, even if it doesn't come about the way we want it to come about. There's a lady that's like a mother to me. Her husband passed. She's adjusting to a new way of life. Her husband is no longer here. So I mean, and that change came. So we have changes that occur, and we have to be able to mourn what we had and be prepared to deal with and live in what we have.
Mm-hmm. And in every situation, you ask God, what's the lesson for me? What lesson in it for me? Because we always don't so much looking at the other person. Why they do this to me, why they do this to me and stuff. Ask God, what the lesson is for me. Let me learn the lesson so I won't have to go through it no more.
I agree. And I think Regina learned something about herself. I think she learned something about her relationship and the things that she valued. Because like she says, sometimes you do have to look back and say, okay, Lord, what am I supposed to learn from this? What change are you trying to implement on me? And like I said, she had to stop focusing on him. And when she said her friend got her out the house, when she stopped focusing on him, that's when she started to feel better. Her focus had to shift, but she had to mourn first. Let me go ahead and mourn this loss because the old Regina had to die and somebody else new had to be reborn. And like she said, now I don't have to go shopping as much. Now I feel the same way. It's like her values changed. With Karen. Karen even admitted with her and John, she had to learn some things about herself. She learned that I'm controlling. And the only thing John was trying to do, he was trying to love me. And John gambled so much because of his father. His father was dominant. He was sort of abusive to his mother. So that was his way of feeling like he won something. And he didn't understand that about himself until he got help. And I think in any relationship, whether you're married, single, or you have some type of addiction, you're addicted to it for a reason, or you're going through something for a reason. So with each of these ladies in the book, they had to learn. We didn't learn much about Marilyn. I don't think we learned, okay, we know she was vindictive, for whatever reason why. But we also, her mother, even when she finally put her husband, when she finally put her husband out, Karen, and she took him back and started going to counseling, we even learned that her mother learned something about herself. Her mother stopped being in fear and finally said yes to the man that she had been with for years. But then I wanted to ask you a question because you were saying about once you and your husband finally separated, and the thoughts that you had in her mind, like, okay, why would he cheat on me? From all that, what did you learn about yourself? What did you start to do different for Belinda?
Well, I know I started doing for myself more because when I was in the house, I did more for chasing the kids versus myself. So I started treating myself more, going out to do things for myself. Like to this day now, I myself out to eat. I wouldn't worry about company or having to have someone with me to validate who I am. I just do things for myself. So I did pick up on that. That was something different that I did that I didn't do when I was with him.
You're on mute, Coretta. We can't hear you.
For anyone else ever experienced something like that, what helped you all? What changes did you make?
We can't let me see, what changes did I make? Mine was so long ago. so long ago. I'm trying to even remember. It's hard for you to remember the man you're married to. It was so long ago. But what changes did I make? Well, did I really let anything go? From what because I was independent already. I was working, making my own money. I went where I wanted to go. Only change I made, I moved to another town so I can go to school. I did. I was still doing what I was doing. I go out to eat with my friend, go to my sorority meetings. I'm still doing my thing. Maybe that's why I ain't stayed married for about 2 minutes.
Woo! Well, I can say that I can remember having a very candid conversation with God. And sometimes the most painful things that you go through can be the most liberating, the most informative, because I can remember having a conversation with the Lord in a moment of tears. And I can remember with my spiritual stuff, y'all pray for me, I'll tell you, but I anyhow. And I said, I can remember the Lord saying to me, do you know who you are? And I said, apparently not, apparently not. And I'll never forget, feeling and sensing, the Lord saying to me the same reward that I have for him, which is heaven, I have for you. The same punishment that I have for him, which is hell, I have that for you. And the light that shines from your life, it shines just as bright, So although that might sound real simple and ignorant, I don't know, elementary, but it did something for me, and I think that we are taught and we are trained to feel like we need a man, but hey, the same heaven I'm going to, he going. And the same hell I'm going to, he going too. He ain't no better. He ain't no better. I don't care what lie they've been telling. I don't care how many centuries they've been telling it. You matter just as much. The light from your life, it shines just as bright. And I know I would not have gotten that elementary epiphany had I not gone through so much pain, had I not gone through what was pain for me, so and it's kind of like really, really realizing that your days are numbered and your time is short, and you tell those days what you want. You tell those moments, hey, this is what I'm going to do today. I'm going to let my light shine, and I'm not going to allow nobody to put a cloak over me. I don't care what it is. I don't care who it is. I don't care if it's my siblings, if it's my children. I don't care if it's some folks on their job. It don't matter who it is, because I got to let my little light shine, I see you, Miss Whitaker.
I wanted to say, I hadn't read the book. I thank God for, listening in, because I've been in this situation, and it was real messy. It was real bad. Took me for a bad spiral down. But what helped me was hearing God's voice in the midst of it, and him speaking. I had never heard before that hurt people hurt people. And so when he spoke that in my spirit, it was like afterwards I started hearing people say that. But until you've gone through that yourself, you don't really understand what that means. You hurt, and the only thing you know is hurt. So it permeates from you. And anybody that comes into your spirit, you don't mean to, but you hurt them. And how I healed from the situation was, I literally had to take a step back and find out who I was, because my identity was wrapped up in this man. My identity was wrapped up in my children. And outside of them, it was just, I didn't do anything. It was church, home, kids. I was the taxi for them. And, I was whatever he needed me to be at the time, but I didn't really necessarily take out time for myself. And so the separation that took place in that, yes, we are still married, but the separation that took place in that, I had to find out who I am. And there was some questions that the Lord posed to me, what do you like? What is your hobby? What would you be doing if it was only you by yourself? What are some things that you desire to do that you have not begun? So that's what helped me. And I'm gonna say this, and I'm gonna shut up. Another thing that helped me is, I read in the scripture, and it says that God desires for us to prosper and be in good health, even as our soul prosper. And so my soul was wrecked. I was hurting. I was not in a healed place, going through that situation. And until he healed my soul, then I couldn't see other areas in my life prosper, until he dealt with that hurt, and I allowed for him to go in the deep places through prayer, or connecting with somebody else in prayer. And then I thank God for sisters who were around me, who were understanding. They didn't bash my husband. They didn't talk down about him or anything like that. They brought straight word to me. Even when I didn't want to hear word, they brought word to me. And sometimes it was just them being there. They didn't have to say a word, just their presence is what helped me get through that situation. So it's a catalyst of things, but mostly prayer, the word, uh, supportive individuals around you, and finding out who you are in yourself. That helped me.
Miss Whitaker, that was something powerful. 'Cause even though you didn't read the book, that was one of the things that she highlighted on the book. She had a friend that was right there with her, and without her friend just getting her out the house one day, just making her calm, that was the change of the new beginning for her. And that's when she started to rediscover who she was. Like, I'm still a woman, and she realized she was still beautiful because somebody else took up his slack and valid. She didn't necessarily need a man to validate her, but it helped her in her spirit. It was a change. It was a shift because she ended up seeing a man that normally she would not be attracted to. Normally she would have something negative to say about him, but she didn't because something shifted in her. It shifted. So from that day on, and she had a friend that was very supportive. And I can say during a time when I went through, and I can thank God for my friends because I don't have friends that tell me negative things or point negative. I have friends that encourage me or tell me also to look at the word. And the one thing I had to learn that God honestly just laid on my heart, whatever day this week I put it out there, the biggest prison that we can live in is our mind. And as the long, like I said, the idle mind is the devil's playground. And as long as you let someone or other negative things come into your mind. So that's what I had to learn to myself. I don't have to hold everything in. I don't have to be strong. I don't have to be the woman that everybody saw me to be. Let me be the woman that God is transforming me to be, and let me get out of my own mind. So that was powerful, what you just stated and said, and that was also in the book. She rediscovered who Regina was. Karen already knew who she was. God was trying to tell her, let go. Let John be John and be encouraging. Because once she started to encourage her husband, he found the help that he needed, and it also helps her. What does everybody think about the ending of the book? Because we pretty much then covered. So what does anyone have an opinion on the ending of the book?
Marilyn played them both. Marilyn did just what Marilyn gonna do. I didn't want you. I wasn't thinking about Regina. I'm Marilyn, and that's who I am. On to the next one. But I'm glad she had some, she woke up, and when she finally woke up and realized who she was and discovered herself, hey, it was all right. I think the end was good for both of them. For all of them. It was good.
Well, except for Larry, because Larry ended up with no one. But I think that she wrote like that because Larry had to figure out who he was. I think Larry was looking at for validation and fun and excitement from a woman. And it seemed like maybe God allowed Marilyn to come in between both of them because Regina had to be more confident in the woman who she was. And it seems like also Larry needed to be confident in the man he was, because Marilyn just didn't care. Marilyn aborted the baby. And
yeah, but Larry did think Larry was truly looking for a future with Marilyn because Marilyn had fooled him. She did. And everything. Well, she didn't really fool him because she was pregnant and everything, but he was looking for a future. But Marilyn probably realized that he wasn't going to get the part of the fortune, maybe. And then she realized that being with him, he wasn't all that in a bag of chips, no way.
But she knew it because she heard how the wife complained, so she knew his faults. I think Marilyn just, like you said, she probably realized like Regina ain't going down without a fight. She didn't think Regina had that much fight in her either, because Regina is going for the gusto. She's not giving up this house, and if she do, she done ran up this credit card, and Larry was the type that ran and told her everything. So she realized she was really gonna get the short end of the stick, and he was gonna always owe Regina something.
Yeah.
And he was weak. I mean, she was smart enough to know if he cheated on her with me, then he probably gonna do me the same way. That was a weak man. She didn't want that man. She didn't want to know it.
His excuses were so lame.
Terrible.
He was really naive.
Terrible. They were.
Well, I didn't get a chance to finish. I didn't get to chapter 19. But what did Ted ever try to talk to Larry? What was his friend Ted? What was his friend named Ted?
No, remember every time he called Ted, he never did stay with Ted. The time he left her, he went straight into the house with another woman. It's like
Mary,
he
but
was
he always,
naive.
yeah. I just wondered towards the end, did Ted ever say anything?
No. After that, you
I
ain't
know
gonna
he
hear
didn't.
nothing else
He
about
never
Ted.
answered the phone. I think he dropped him off one time back at the house. Yeah, but
I think Ted knew the same thing John knew about him. Like I said, he was weak and he was naive. He was weak for a woman. That was his biggest weakness was a woman, and God put a woman in front of him that broke him down to his level. Regina was too weak because she loved him, so she accepted him. But Marilyn, she played him. She made him look like a fool.
Or it's like real life, you know. I like the ending because it's kind of how things play out in real life. You know, that's the game that they played, and it's a lot of spiritual aspects to this book, you know, that rings true to real life, you know, because you got some women and that's just what they do, you know, and if you allow them to tear your home to pieces, but you have some men that's going to, you know, if they mess around out there, they're not going to let you come and tear their house apart. But this guy didn't care, you know, and just like Miss Doris said, you know, he really thought he was going to have a life with this woman, and I don't think she ever thought she would have no life with him. It was just fun in the moment, and she was getting to Regina.
But then Regina, she realized too. When she started talking to Malcolm, she realized too, shoot, I never did really love Larry. Because the feeling she felt for Malcolm, she never felt that way for Larry. So she was questioning, why was I with Larry anyway?
Right.
Because he wasn't nobody that I wanted.
Mm-hmm. Right. And I guess when you so used to being treated bad, you know.
But it wasn't, and it seemed like Larry would treat Regina bad. It seemed like Regina was running things. Seemed like she was running things.
But I think how Miss Lawson wrote it to make it seem like Regina was running things, like she was the dominant one. Because toward the end, even when her friends saw that Regina was so weak, it's like Regina wasn't. I think Regina addiction to shopping was to make him feel better about himself. Like if I dress him up more and put him in this cologne, because once we got toward the end and like Donna said, listen to his excuses. Larry was weak already. Larry was very weak for a woman. And I think Regina knew that. And I think that's why she wanted to be up under him all the time. That's why she catered to his every need to try to make him feel okay. She was busy trying to build herself up, but at the same time, he was tearing her down. Because when she talked to her,
I think she was dominant one, but she was the blind one. She was blind to the truth. Now she was dominant, but she was blind. Because Regina was just like she was in college. She had everything. Her parents gave her everything. So she was what she was. She what Regina want, Regina get. And then she realized Larry really, all them, they wasn't married, I think, for 2 years. And Larry really wasn't what she really wanted. When you really look at it, you know, if the truth be told, I wasted my time with Larry. Larry was just a mirage. Because I think Larry was the only person she had ever been with or something. I don't, you know. But I think she had plenty of sense.
For it to last.
She had plenty. Huh?
I think she probably saw some signs from the jump of the type of person he was, but maybe she was just in a place where she, you know, thought she loved him and wanted to get married. I think probably every woman dreams of that beautiful wedding and that wonderful family and husband and all the things that we, you know, see in fairy tale land. But
at least go around. But I never with the life that I live now, I don't think I ever get married. I don't, because I feel too free and I like it. I love it.
Something to come knocking at your front door now. Before you know it, it'll be knocking on your front door.
Well, if he got to knock on my front door, you know, I hear you knocking, but you can't get in. No. I'm feeling all right. I don't think marriage was for me in the first place. It was.
Sometimes I feel like I want to be married, and then other times I just feel like I don't want to be bothered.
Cause see, I don't like cooking. I cook when I want to cook. I do what I want to do. I don't like all of that. I just don't like all that extra.
He might like to cook.
Well, he can do it at his house.
It'll be disturbing your peace.
Yeah, seems like I'm just at peace with what I with my single life. My single life. Some people, I understand. Some people just have to be married. Some people
just have to be with somebody.
Mm-hmm. But it ain't me. It's not me.
Yeah,
I'm content.
Yeah, I think statistics say I'm confident that statistics say that you live longer when you have somebody. Even if you're arguing with that somebody, that it's good to have somebody, but
the argument gonna take you out. That's stressful.
It is stressful.
They said the man lives longer. The man lives longer when he's married.
Oh, okay.
That's what the Bible does. The Bible say he who finds a wife finds a good thing. It ain't say she. It says he.
He been stressed out, like you said, been stressed out and took her to the grave. He still be living.
And unfortunately, it happens like that too. Unfortunately, So, wow, yeah.
I don't know who doing those statistics, but they ain't hit it with me.
I like the ending of the book. Of course, you always like to see justice being served, and I felt like Larry, got his just due in the book. How eventually he ended up on his knees, begging Regina, and she was like, "Oh no, thank you," "Oh no, thank you," and the reason why she could so confidently say, "Oh no, thank you," is because of the pain that he put her through, and the reason why, even on the line, saying, "No, I don't want to get married because I've been there and I've done that, and I'm okay with where I am," as opposed to somebody that has never been married. And I have had conversations with people that have never been married, and that's all they dream about is getting married, But so I love the way it ended. Come on, Miss Donna.
I've never been. I'm not dreaming.
You're not dreaming. Well, I've been married.
And I've never been. I will when COVID passes. May go back out. Go out and eat. Maybe go to a movie, whatever. But I'm not dreaming. If it happened, it happened. But
yes,
I'm getting to know me. Even I'm 50. I'm getting to know me.
Yes. And that's
some bad relationships. So it's me.
Yeah.
And I think a lot, even for women, even regardless of your age, because what was the saying that Sister Tyson had regarding age? I think when you age, you get better, like they said with fine wine, because you have to discover yourself, especially once all the children gone, because it's like you always define when the kids is like, okay, I have to do this with this baby or this baby, but it's like once you get a chance for it, you really truly discover who you are. Because it's like, as long as you even have kids, your kids gonna define you. I got to be mama to you today, and what you need, I got to be mama to the next. So I think with women, you get better with time. Like they say, it's just like fine wine. And men will change you, because every relationship you get in, you react to that person and then you get used to that person. So then you even transform into that who that person wants you to be. Because sometimes men only see in you what they want you to be, whether it's good, bad. They see, and as women, we see in them what we want them to be. I think Regina saw in Larry what she wanted him to be. It was ideal for her. But I liked it John and Karen's relationship because Karen knew who she was and John knew who he was. Like he told her, cheating was never an option for him. I like when he came in and saved the day at the at the club while they were sitting there because he knew what he wanted. And when he got to that point when he realized he was going to lose her, he was willing to get the help that he needed because he didn't have to change for her. He just had to let go of that bad habit. And as
if he had to let his mama, if he had to listen to his mama, he wouldn't have had nothing.
That's true. I think his mother was hurt because it went from how his dad was toward her, and the boys was all she had. And I think she was dominant because they were all she had, and they helped her get over the father since he was so mean and dominant and abusive.
Yeah. How much debt did Regina leave Larry in? Did they say at the end? Because I know she was buying tennis bracelets and just spending. So because his name was on that credit card. So how much?
That about 5,000 because she said in the book, she said that day that she was willing, that card was 10,000, worth 10,000. And she said she was planning on spending 5,000.
But she said she was going to the bank to get an advance, $5,000 advance.
Oh,
I think she did. Yeah. I think from how they worded it, she did get the advance, but he was so caught up in his own life, he wasn't paying attention to the finances at all. He never, when he came back over there, he never mentioned anything about money because she was even saying about the divorce. She was willing to give him a house, but he was going to pay her healthy for it. He was so caught up with him in Maryland, he never mentioned the debt. His whole focus was Maryland, and Maryland was just playing him. And only time he really focused on, because even when he came over there with the excuses, because like I said, the book really is pretty much going to end after that. When he came over there with those excuses, saying why he chose her and they finna have a baby, he never meant to hurt her. He was selfish, and he didn't pay attention to his finances. He never brought up any money or anything toward her. Yeah. I think what she was trying to show us, he was so caught up and wrapped up with one woman, he ended up losing everything because he gonna be in some debt because she did hook him up with that card.
Oh yeah, she hooked him up. And then she wound up with a man that owned the jewelry store and 2 more.
Yeah, and that's what it showed her. Her issue with him wasn't even about the money because she found the man that had all the money that she needed. But remember what it said? He was caring. He checked on her. She didn't have to call like she had to call her husband to make sure we're going to do this, we're going to do that. Malcolm always called and checked on her. Malcolm was more patient with her. It's like God finally blessed her with the type of man that she needed. And she hadn't been shopping since she had got with him. She realized that she didn't even need all the materialistic stuff because she had everything that she needed in him already.
And he was something. He was a sharp dresser already and everything, so she ain't have to do nothing.
And that was something that jumped out to me in the book. You know how when you first start reading the book, you really judge Regina, you know, and this judgment on her, and then you find out that she's just surviving. You know, she was buying and spending, surviving in that relationship. You know, because she really wasn't getting what she needed, you know, but, you know, she was surviving. And just as sure she got somebody that actually loved her, and she didn't need to do any of that. She, you know, she was telling her friend, I don't even have a desire to shop, you know, because she was happy, you know. So, and sometimes we do that in real life, you know, we survive, you know, you find yourself into things that you know, because you're surviving, even if that's just staying home. And you could be an outgoing person, but you just trying to please this person. So you staying at home. you doing all you can to please somebody that you can't even please, that don't even know what they want, really. You know, a lot of women, unfortunately. Come on, Miss Donna, I saw you.
I was saying she stopped shopping. She really didn't have anything else to go buy. She had so much. So she really didn't have anything else to buy that she needed, you know.
Were you finna say something, Belinda?
Oh, shoot, that was so. Let's see, what was I going to say? I guess I was going to speak on Regina, the part, and that was going to be that really didn't. I think it was on a. I was going to comment about their relationship. I think with Regina, her mind wasn't focused the negative. Like I think Miss Doris had said she was naive, to their situation, to her husband relationship. I don't think it was the fact that she was naive or she was dumb to it, but most people see the bright side of everything. They look for hope. They look for good things, and their mind is not focused on the negative. Because with Regina, she just didn't have the thought in her head that her was cheating on her. She didn't want to have those thoughts, because most of the time, if you have those thoughts, that consumes your relationship, and that will leave you paranoid, angry, upset. So I don't think that she was just necessarily naive. It was just she was just looking for the good. She was looking for the good in their relationship. So she just assumed that no, her man wasn't cheating, or no, her man couldn't cheat on her, because that just wasn't what she was focused on. That what I was gonna say earlier. I'll never hear Coretta out that finish.
That's good, Belinda.
I never hear her respond because she don't know her phone be still on mute.
Yeah, I don't. But I agree. I agree. I don't think it was the fact that she was naive, and like Shell said, when we first started reading about her, we think she the villain, like she's coming at him extra hard. But John also revealed about him, he was always a woman's watcher. So that means she was always negative toward other women because she was insecure, because he made her feel insecure. So she matched that with shopping.
Yeah.
And I think that's why she bought him. Let me make you feel good about yourself, because if I make you feel good, because notice they said she was giving him all the sex that she wanted. She'll come home and just make sure she had everything ready to take her back. She was doing everything she could to make sure he was happy, but it still wasn't enough. So I think it probably made her feel like less of a woman, and she wanted to be naive, because it's like, why would he hurt me? I'm the perfect woman. So why would he cheat on me? There's no purpose for him cheating on me, because I give him sex, I make sure he eat, I make sure everything cook clean. He don't even have to go shopping for himself, because I'm even doing that for him.
Yes.
And Marilyn came in and she did less. Marilyn only gave him sex and attention and let him nag about me. And you fell in love with Marilyn. And I think that's why she took it so hard, because it's like, I already know she knew what type of woman Marilyn was. So it's like, why you gonna choose Marilyn? And then Marilyn is just trifling.
Yeah. But if you want to go somewhere, you go mess. That's all.
What did I say? The person that's nice to you, they tend to get looked over. The one that really care for you and there for you, they tend to get the worst part of you. And then the one that really don't care can tell you truly how they feel, curse you out, probably try to hit you if they, assault you if they could. And they are the ones that you fall in love with the most. You love the most and care for the most.
I'm gonna tell you what my brother told me one time, when my daughter just finally, I guess, fell in love with some guy that she really liked it, and he was, and as parents, it's like, well, no, I don't like him for you, but I had to realize when I was younger, with my children's first father, when my daddy, he used to tell me about him, and he told me one day, he was like, you know what, Coretta, I'm gonna let you learn on your own. He was like, because I can see in him that you only do. He was like, but y'all got 2 kids now. I had my oldest 2 daughters, Kayla and Shara. He was like, but one thing that always resonated with my father, he was like, a wise man learn from the mistakes of others, but a fool always gonna learn from their mistakes. And I couldn't see it because, and well, my friends here, there'll be a testimony to it. And the sad part about it, I knew everything he was doing. I knew it, but it's like Belinda said, I didn't want to believe it. Because I'm serious, he was so smooth. If he had peanut butter, Lord knows, y'all, he had to have jelly. If he had ham, he was gonna have burger. It's like, boy, didn't you just get through cheating on me? You cheating on me again? And it's like, I don't care what I said or it's still, he was gonna cheat. And then I was like, how he cheat on me, man? He'll be together all the time. I could never figure out. I was like, how is this man cheating on me? It's like, we always going out. He gonna take me out to eat. He gonna make sure I have what he need. And oh my God, don't let no other female say something. And my telling story came, he was finna fight. Oh, you said what? He was gonna shut it down. He would act straight stupid over me. But when I say cheated, it was ridiculous. But it's like I did, and it ain't that I ain't want to see it. I don't know, is it just my pride or whatever? And I didn't let him, and everything my daddy said was true. I did not let him go until we moved together. When I finally moved, I saw how selfish he was. I was pregnant with my second daughter, and we arguing about a video game, and I'm pregnant, I'm going to the doctor and stuff like that, and it's like, you real life selfish, and all the time I'm thinking you love me because you would buy me this, that, and the third. We going to the movies and stuff. It's like, but now we grown, we found in our own apartment, and it's like, my daddy told me I didn't want to move. I remember sitting in the car with my sister and I'm fully loaded, pregnant, crying like I don't want to go to Chicago. And my mama was like, you ain't got to go north if you don't want to go. Don't go. And my dad was like, no, Ma, I have to let her go, because when you let her go, she gonna see how this man is. And when we moved, it wasn't no time, because it's like, I know I had to be a mama to these kids. I'm trying to work. And I remember walking 5 miles just try to go get some assistance for these kids, because it's like, you come up here and you get a half a job. I'm thinking you got everything together. And when we truly separated and I left him alone, he became a better man to his kids. And if I don't give him nothing else, he gonna be a daddy to these kids. And that's when I realized, it's like, long as I'm with him and I'm doing everything he have did for these girls, but time I finally let you go, faithfully, he'll come get these girls. And I remember my cousin, them telling me like, man, I want a man like Jeff. I'm looking at him like, it took some years for him to get it right with these kids. You don't want Jeff? Jeffrey was, no. It's like, he a lifetime man. He got split personalities. But I give him his credit to this day. I don't care what, we can get into it. We can cuss each other out. I'm gonna come get my kids. Okay. He's a man to these kids, but he could never be that man to me. And it was just like Regina, I didn't want to see it until then. It took me to move across state lines just for to really see how selfish he was. And it was right there in front of me the whole time. So I get how she was. And I wasn't gonna marry him because my dad like, y'all got 2 kids. And they're like, you right, Dad, I am not gonna marry this man. There's no way I can spend my life in abundance like this, because it was all about him. So I thank God for that part, because it's like God opened my eyes to see that. And I think, like Belinda said, as women, we see what we want to see until everything finally hit the fan.
Yeah. And we can't be like that. We need to see what it is. Even if it's gonna break me down, I need to see what I'm dealing with. I do not want to be ignorant. The Bible does not, the Lord does not want us ignorant concerning no things. You need to know what you're dealing with, and we have to, sometimes we have to face, all the times we have to face those things, I have to face those things, those painful things, so that's powerful. And that is a subject of discernment, especially Regina. Oh my goodness. Discernment with friends, with who you let in your circle, with your husband, with just really, really paying attention to what you have, and not focusing on what you want, and really seeing what you have. So that's something that I have to do in my own life also,
I'm just trying to see what Dara's doing. It's just I don't know what she's doing. I was listening to you, and then I just got a glimpse of her. Like, what is she doing? Okay. Yeah.
All right, ladies. Well, it is 7:11. Thank you all so much for your commentary. We're going to just end this book because, like we said, it pretty much ended. Larry got what he deserved. Karen and John ended up working everything out. Even when he started going to the AA meetings, she also started going to learn some things about herself. And I think as women, we all have to take back and learn some things about ourselves, even when we don't want to see it. The heart wants what the heart wants, but we have to be honest with ourselves. We have to have our minds open, and we have to have discernment to listen to what God wants for us. Thank you all so much for logging on. Any suggestions on the next book? I'm not choosing the next book, ladies. Somebody else gonna have to choose the next book.
Can I ask a quick question before we go about the ending? Do y'all think that, even though we was reading it in the book, do y'all think that that's like a normal ending?
I think sometimes, even if we don't see it, even if we don't see it, it happens. I really do. Because you remember what they always say in the Bible: The Lord says, vengeance is mine. And he is a God of order and justice. Even when we don't see it, it happens.
Mm-hmm. And y'all remember, books deal with human life.
They do.
And it happened to somebody, the author know, or something. But because Kimberly Roby and them, I know Mary Monroe. I went to a book signing. Mary Monroe, we asked how do her ideas come about. She said from family members she's seen do things, from places she been and seen stuff happen. Everything deal with something that happened in real life. So it is nothing these authors are making up. They just, like Dragnet says, they changing the name to protect the innocent.
That's true.
But everything is real.
And I know it's time for us to get off, but we did not mention Karen's sister.
We didn't. Oh yeah. Oh, her sister. Yeah.
Yes.
They got Sheila.
Mm-hmm. You know, and the effects of divorce on children. I think that rang truth, you know, for me reading the book, how devastated this child when she was a child, you know, and she grew up to be a broken adult because of her mom and dad's divorce. And divorce is devastating, although, you know, people play around with adultery like it's normal. All this, they're singing about it, they're making up dances about it, they're side chicking it, and whatever else, you know, like it's a popular thing, but it is damaging for children. And I just wanted to throw her in there before we close this thing out, because that's real life, you know, what was going on with Karen's
parents divorced so long ago, but is she gonna continue to have children by somebody that don't want no more?
She hadn't dealt with it.
She didn't deal with it. She was angry at her mother because her thing was she faulted her mother for the divorce. So that's why she hold on to her children's father, because she feel like she don't want her children to go through what she went through without having a father. So that emptiness is still in her. And I tell people all the time, I can't.
But let them make her get pregnant again, then. She got pregnant for the fourth.
She keep getting pregnant because I'm still dealing with this man,
and there was probably her connection, and that's how she felt loved. I guess that she felt something that she felt like she had to continue to be with this man to make her complete or feel a certain way. So she stayed for whatever reason, but we know that it's something that she needs to go and get some help, because it's something that she's dealing with. That she needs that resolved, or she needs to talk to someone about it.
It's like she broken, and like Whitaker said, hurt people hurt other people. So it's like I'm still hurt, and I'm letting this man hurt me because my father hurt me, and I haven't dealt with it. I'm putting it off on my mother because my father never came back around. So she's putting everything off on the mom. And Karen, tell you, they had a great mom, but she still resents the fact because she felt like her mother should have just dealt with whatever the father was dishing out, even though the father actually walked off and left the mother. But
well, we just gonna imagine how Sheila gonna deal with this situation, because Terrence said he don't want no other child and told her to get an abortion. So we'll see how that works one day.
True, because this book was wrote back in the 90s, so she didn't write a part 2 to it. I guess she's leaving it up to because like I said, we see that in neighborhoods all the time. I know working at DHS, I never forget this little girl, and she had 3 kids by the same guy. He was already with somebody else, and she'd come in and she was like, Miss, I know, I don't need no more kids. I don't do nothing for my other babies. But she didn't stop having kids by him. It was something that kept drawing her to him.
I write the ending of it. She gonna have her baby, and Terrence gonna move on.
She gonna decide to keep her baby.
That's how they're gonna end. And Sheila, and then her sister gonna help her raise, and her mama, they're gonna help her raise those children, and she gonna finally get her tube tied.
And then the little boy won't say any more F words to the teacher.
Yeah,
because he was acting out his fault.
So
But if she lose him, it's gonna be another man because she still need to deal with her father issues. She has daddy-daughter issues. That's her biggest thing. But she's taking it out on her mom. She needs to forgive her mom.
Well, she might meet a man that he loves her and he knows that she has some emotional things going on, and he sticks by her and help her work through it. So that's the ending we're gonna get it.
Okay. Alternative ending. We can try that.
All right.
All right. Well, we get somebody to pray us out, and somebody put another book out there in the chat. So hopefully we have a different book to look at a different side of life. Relationships are hard, and I think that's why women write books about relationships, because that's one of the hardest things in life where we deal with love and relationships. Like I said, we were put in this world to be with somebody. He created Adam and Eve. So I guess all women are looking for their Adam and all men are just searching for their Eve.
Well, I ain't looking for no Adam because he ain't have sense enough to tell Eve no. God told me that did this. So I ain't looking for no Adam.
Well, we'll say Joseph, because Joseph was a strong man. He was strong.
Well, don't send David.
Right. Know what I'm saying? We'll say Joseph. No, not David.
Boaz, you want somebody with wisdom? You want Solomon?
Solomon loved women. He had 2 men.
Yeah. No, I said Joseph because, Mary and Joseph was strong because he resisted when the other lady tried to come on to him. So I said, we'll say Joseph. Joseph took care of another child that wasn't even none of his.
Yeah, but Joseph tried to hide her now. Joseph tried to put her away secretly because he didn't want to, and then Angel had to come and tell Joseph.
True, but at least he listened. All of them gonna have a fault. I think I'll take Joseph out before I take him.
Well, maybe I might have to get old Job.
Oh yeah, Job. He was a good one too. Yeah.
Job okay, y'all. Well, we know they live long. But they still cheated because they had several wives and concubines. So hey,
Joseph didn't have all that.
Joseph didn't, because remember he resisted them. Joseph did.
I said Job.
I thought Joseph didn't either. No, they don't talk about Job one wife.
Yeah.
And Job had too many children for me though. I can be all on them children now, Job. But anyway. But if whoever come up with the next book, just whatever they gonna do with Coretta, you said put it where?
In the text message, in the group text message.
Oh, okay.
All right. Well, Miss Whitaker, you want to pray us off?
How did I know you were gonna say that?
Because I was gonna say the same thing. I was gonna ask
come on, Miss Whitaker.
Oh my goodness. Okay. Let me ask y'all this about the book. Does the book have to be a relationship book?
No.
Oh wow, okay. I got a bunch of books. I think of something. It don't have to be me though. But yeah, let's pray. Father God, in the name of Jesus, I just thank you and I praise you for fellowship. I thank you for each and every woman in this group, God. I thank you for the age differences. I thank you, Lord, for the different backgrounds. I thank you for the different situations that we're coming from, Lord. And I thank you, God, for the wisdom that you pour into this group. I thank you for each and every person. And I even thank you for you